Buyers focus on finding the perfect home, not the perfect lender. But picking the wrong lender can result in thousands of extra dollars, or even worse, losing your dream home. But it doesn't have to be that complicated. My name is Athena Barogas. I'm your luxury property specialist with the Moving to Weston team. And in today's video, I am going to walk you through the biggest mistakes buyers are making when choosing their lender. And we're going to cover avoiding delays, avoiding those extra costs, and most importantly, not having your transaction fail at the last moment. Listen, most of my clients are relocating from California, New York, New Jersey, and we cover these issues before we even start looking for homes. So if you're interested in seeing what that buyer's guide looks like, I have it attached for a free download for you. Just look in the description below. But let's get started. So one of the biggest mistakes I see is that buyers choose a lender based on the advertised rate. Well, there's a problem with this. The problem is that the rate is only one piece of the overall loan package. I have a great example for you. I was working with buyers and they came in with their lender with this great rate. It was 0.25% lower than the market rate. So instead of 6.5, it was 6.25. All right, so we sat down, we looked at this. So what had happened, this is what we found, is that it had higher origination rates. They were buying discount points. The overall closing cost was greater. So that point savings of 2.5%, the actual number for that loan was almost $6,000 more than their competitor. So no, the rate does matter, but it's not the defining character. I want you to think of it this way. I want you to think of it as buying a car. Yes, you can afford those payments, but what is the total cost of the car? What are the terms of buying that car, and how much interest are you really paying? The smart move is to consider the rate, but don't make it to be the defining moment in your decision whether or not to choose a lender. The second biggest mistake buyers are making today is not being fully pre-approved through their lender. What does that mean? Well, there's three types of pre-approvals out there. You have the pre-qualification, you have your pre-approval, and then you have your conditional underwritten pre-approval. Guess which one is most valuable in today's market? The problem is most buyers don't understand the difference between the three. When you have the pre-qualification, sounds really easy with your online lender. You tell them what they want to know. You're answering questions, but all that information has not been verified. I was in a transaction, not recently, but a while ago, with a buyer who insisted on using their online lender because of the rate. Well, this is what happened. We're going through the process 2 weeks before they closed. The lender runs into an issue. They didn't realize that there was bonus documentation required in order to support the income of the buyer. Well, what was going to happen was not only a delay, but the seller was ready to cancel the contract. So being pre-approved matters. The type of pre-approval matters, especially when you're in markets as competitive as Weston, Parkland, and the surrounding area of Broward County. Listing agents and sellers understand the difference between the three, and the one they want is the conditional pre-approval, the one that the underwriter has already looked at and verified. So if you're out there in the market and you're thinking you're ready to go, talk to your lender, talk to your real estate agent. Make sure that you have the right pre-approval so you can compete for your dream home. Another mistake buyers make is choosing a slow or unresponsive lender. What does that mean? Well, real estate runs on very tight timelines. You have inspection timelines, you have finance approval timelines, you have to order the appraisal within a certain timeline. Timelines drive the contract. So if you choose a lender who's slow, who's unresponsive, well, now they're dragging out these timelines. And sometimes sellers do not respond well. And when it's time to give a request for an extension to give the lender who's been slow and unresponsive an opportunity to move forward in the transaction, some sellers will say, no, we're not going to extend, and therefore the transaction may cancel. So the reality is when a buyer's agent presents a contract to a listing agent, the listing agent, just like myself, are going to ask very pointed questions. Who is the lender? Are they available to work on the weekends? Do they pick up their phone? Do they work on the evenings as well? The transaction does not recognize Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. This is a very fluid environment. It's very stressful, and everybody on your team as a buyer need to be working all the time. So who is the right lender for you? The right lender is one who's responsive, who's available, who answers their email, and more importantly, wants to have the transaction closed to satisfy you as their client. Another mistake buyers make is ignoring local expertise. South Florida, it's a unique market. It is different than any other market, and online lenders sometimes just don't understand our unique offering. Here are some of the factors that make it unique. We have insurance requirements that are different. We have HOA approval systems that are different, that are lengthy, that can cause 12 to 15 to 30 days extra in the timeline. We have flood requirements that need to be taken into consideration. We have certain closing requirements. We have condo restrictions. There is so much going on in South Florida that is unique that you really need to have a local team around you, including a local lender. Here's another mistake that buyers make. They do not compare loan estimates. Sure, buyers will call and ask for the rate all day long, dialing for dollars for rate. But what they do not do, and this is what they need to do, is they do not compare loan estimates between lenders. You just need to. Lender A, lender B. Compare their loan estimates. This is where you're really going to find which lender is offering the best overall loan package, not just a teaser rate. And one of the defining characters is that the difference between an APR and the actual interest rate, the further those two move away from each other, the more fees that are included in that loan estimate. If you want to learn more, remember, I do have the buyer risk guide attached in the description, and it goes over this in a lot greater detail. But going back to the loan estimates, these are the specific tools as a buyer that helps you understand exactly what the cost of your loan is going to be at closing. So important. I encourage you to ask for your loan estimate every single time. Okay, so I shared with you the 5 biggest mistakes buyers make when choosing a lender, but I want to give you a bonus tip as well. You're going to receive recommendations. I want you to take those recommendations, but then I want you to do your homework. You should be asking questions. You should be having a dialogue with the lender, and you should be reading their reviews. Okay, so here are the qualities you really want to look for in a lender. You want them to be transparent. You want them to be honest. You want them to identify and share with you the issues and the solutions to any potential problems. You want them to be available. As a realtor, I make recommendations all the time of lenders I know that can get the job done. However, it's your responsibility as a buyer to ensure that that lender that's being recommended, whether it's a realtor or a friend, is a good match for you as well. Okay, so the biggest takeaway from today's video is that when you're buying a home, it's always so important to choose the right lender, just as it's important to choose your dream home. And if you're relocating to South Florida, I encourage you to take a look at my next video, the biggest mistake buyers make when relocating to South Florida. As always, I'm here to answer all of your questions. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, I'm here to make your move to South Florida as smooth as possible. So go ahead, book an appointment. Love to talk to you.